what are your salary expectations? It's kind of like a first date. But instead of awkwardly trying to figure out who pays for dinner, you're trying to figure out who pays for your life for the next few years. Get it wrong and you could be eating ramen noodles until you're 40. Get it right and you're on your way to that avocado toast lifestyle everyone on Instagram seems to have. You know that feeling, right? Your heart starts pounding, your palms get clammy, and you suddenly forget every number you've ever known. It's honestly like they've asked you to solve a complex math problem on the spot. But the answer determines your rent. You don't want to aim too high and scare them off, making them think you're asking for a private jet and a personal chef. But you also don't want to aim too low and end up getting paid in valuable experience and free office coffee. It's a delicate dance, a tightrope walk over a canyon of financial regret. But don't you worry. Today we're going to demystify this whole process. We're going to turn that moment of panic into a moment of power. I've got 4 solid strategies, 4 different ways to handle this question like a pro, no matter what your situation is. By the end of this video, you'll be able to walk into that interview with the confidence of a game show host who already knows all the answers. So grab a notebook or just your phone and let's get you paid what you're worth. Let's do this. Alright, let's start with scenario number 1. This is for when you're early in the interview process. Maybe it's the first phone screen and you barely know what the company does, let alone what they should pay you. They hit you with the salary question and you're thinking, I don't even know if you have a decent coffee machine yet. This is where you use the classic deflection, the polite sidestep. It's like when a politician is asked a tough question, you acknowledge it but you don't really answer it. You want to show you're reasonable and cooperative without locking yourself into a number that might be way too low once you learn more. The key here is to pivot the conversation back to the role itself. You want to communicate that your main focus is on the value you can bring and the fit between you and the company. You're not just a number on a spreadsheet. You're a potential superstar for their team. So when they ask about your expectations, you take a calm breath, smile and say something like this. That's a great question. Right now, I'm really focused on learning as much as I can about this opportunity and how I can contribute to your team. I'm open to discussing a salary that's fair and competitive based on the responsibilities of the role and the overall benefits package. See what you did there? You're professional, you're thoughtful, and you've just bought yourself some time. This approach shows them you're mature and strategic. You're not just chasing a paycheck, you're looking for the right career move. It also subtly puts the ball back in their court. You've mentioned things like responsibilities and benefits package, which prompts them to give you more information. They might start detailing the day-to-day tasks or mentioning their great health insurance plan, all of which is valuable intel for you. You're basically saying, show me what you've got, and then we can talk numbers. It's a smooth, professional way to delay the salary talk until you have more leverage and more information. So, the next time you're in that early stage, remember this phrase, practice it, make it sound natural. I'd love to learn more about what the position entails before discussing specific numbers. It's your get-out-of-jail-free card for the premature salary question. It's confident, it's smart, and it keeps your options wide open. This isn't about being evasive, it's about being strategic. You're setting the stage for a much more informed negotiation later on, which is exactly where you want to be. Okay, scenario 2. Let's say you've done your homework. You've scoured LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and PayScale. You've talked to friends in the industry. You basically have a PhD in what this job should pay in your city. You're not guessing, you have data. This is when you can come in with a well-researched range. This approach shows you're prepared, you know your worth, and you understand the market. It projects confidence and professionalism. You're not just throwing out a random number you dreamed about. You're presenting a data-backed proposal. It's a power move, but a very respectable one. The trick is to present your range as a starting point for a conversation, not a final demand. You still want to sound flexible and team-oriented. You're not walking in like a movie villain saying, meet my demands or else you're a collaborator. So, when the question comes, you can say, thank you for asking. Based on my research for similar roles in this industry and considering my experience level, I believe a salary in the range of USD 6,000 to 7,000 per month would be appropriate for this position. You state your range clearly and confidently, anchoring the negotiation in a place that works for you. But you don't stop there. This is crucial. After you state your range, you immediately follow up with a statement that shows your flexibility and your genuine interest in the job itself. This softens the ask and reassures them that you're not just about the money. You can add, however, "I'm flexible and very open to discussing this further." For me, the overall opportunity and the chance to grow with your team are really the most important factors. This shows them you're a reasonable person who is excited about the job, not just the salary attached to it. It's the perfect 1-2 punch of confidence and collaboration. Giving a range is also strategically smart. The lower end of your range should be a number you'd be genuinely happy with, while the higher end is your ideal target. This gives the employer some wiggle room but ensures the negotiation starts on your terms. They are much less likely to lowball you when you've already set a professional, well-researched benchmark. So do your research, know your numbers, and practice delivering this line. It shows you're a serious candidate who has come to the table prepared to have a serious and fair conversation. Now for our third scenario, this one is for all the career switchers out there, or for those of you who are just starting out and don't have a long list of previous jobs in the field. It can feel like you have less leverage, and in some ways that's true, but that doesn't mean you have to accept peanuts. It's all about framing your position correctly. You need to acknowledge your situation while still advocating for a fair starting salary. The goal is to show you're realistic and eager to learn, but also that you know your potential and value. The key here is to tie your salary expectations to your learning and growth potential. You're essentially saying, "I know I have a lot to learn, and I'm willing to start at a more junior level salary, but I'm a fast learner and I'm looking for a place that will invest in me." This is an attractive proposition for many employers. They get an enthusiastic employee who is motivated to grow, and they might be able to bring you on at a slightly lower cost initially. It's a win-win if you frame it right. You're not apologizing for your lack of experience. You're highlighting your potential. So how does this sound in practice? When they ask about your salary, you can say something like this: "Since I'm transitioning into this new field, I understand that I may be starting at a more entry-level position. I'm looking for a salary somewhere around the USD 5,000 mark. You're being upfront and realistic, which they will appreciate." But then you immediately add the important part: "But I'm very open to negotiation depending on the learning opportunities and the full benefits package you offer." This shows that you're thinking long-term. This strategy does two things. First, it manages their expectations about your starting salary, showing you're grounded. Second, it opens the door to discuss non-monetary compensation that is incredibly valuable when you're starting out, like training programs, mentorship, or a clear path for advancement. You're showing them that you're not just taking a job, you're looking to build a career with them. It's a mature and forward-thinking way to handle the conversation when you're the new kid on the block. It shows humility, but also ambition. And finally, we have scenario number 4, my personal favorite. I call this the poker face, or the you go first gambit. This is a savvy move that can be used in almost any situation, but it works especially well when you're really unsure about the company's budget or the market rate. The fundamental rule of any negotiation is that the first person to name a number often loses. Why? Because you might accidentally name a number that's way lower than what they were willing to pay. You could leave thousands on the table without even knowing it. The goal of this strategy is to politely and professionally get the employer to reveal their budget first. You're turning the question right back at them, but in a way that sounds collaborative, not confrontational. You're not saying, "I'm not telling you." You're framing it as though you trust their internal processes and fairness. You are positioning them as the expert on their own compensation structures, which is, true. It's a subtle but powerful shift in the dynamic of the conversation. So when the interviewer asks for your salary expectations, you can respond with a calm and friendly tone, saying something like this: "That's a fair question. I'm confident that we can find a number that's agreeable to both of us. To help me understand, could you tell me what the approved salary range is for this position? I'm sure your company has already established a budget based on market standards and internal equity." It's a beautifully crafted sentence. It's respectful, it's confident, and it puts the onus on them to provide the first number. Most reasonable HR managers or hiring managers will respond to this by giving you their range. And once they do, the power is in your hands. If their range is higher than you expected, fantastic. You can now negotiate within their range, aiming for the top end. If it's lower than you hoped, you now have a clear starting point and can decide if it's worth negotiating up from there or walking away. This move prevents you from accidentally lowballing yourself and gives you the maximum amount of information before you have to put a number on the table. It's a pro move for a reason. Alright, so there you have it. 4 solid, battle-tested ways to handle the salary question. It's not so scary now, is it? It's just a conversation. A very important conversation, sure. One that decides whether you're eating filet mignon or, a sad ramen. The point is, you now have the tools. You can be the cool, calm, and collected candidate who knows their worth. You're not going to be that person who blurts out a number and immediately regrets it. Think of it this way. Companies have budgets. They already have a number in mind. Your job isn't to magically guess that number. Your job is to have a professional conversation to make sure that number aligns with your skills, your experience, and your value. It's business. It's not personal. So don't be shy, don't be afraid. Practice these phrases, say them in the mirror, say them to your dog, get comfortable with them. The more prepared you are, the less nervous you'll be, and the better you'll do. You've got this. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If it was, you know what to do. Give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and maybe hit that little bell so you don't miss the next one, and leave a comment below. Tell me about your own horror stories or success stories with salary negotiations. I read them, I really do. It's better than reading what people say about me on Twitter. Alright, that's all the time we have for today. Go out there and get that job, and more importantly, get that money. Good night, everybody.